good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited that we're able to have you all here for our 10th anniversary event and first award show. I'm actually in the red carpet outside of our beautiful mEducation Alliance amphitheater, and want to greet some of our guests that are arriving here today or joining us from where they are. Hey, Michael Hollander. Michael's the head of education sector at GIZ. Michael, come over here. Can we talk to you for a moment before we go into the formal venue for the anniversary show? Michael, it's good to see you. How you been?
Hi, Tony. Nice to see you and all the others, which I cannot see actually, but I know that they are there. Hi.
Well, it's great that you could join us, Michael, and I hope your e-limousine drive over to your venue is comfortable. We go all out for all of our presenters and guests, just to let you know. Was your ride comfortable?
Yeah, it was just fine. I nearly got late because we started Carnival today and I'm in Cologne. And in normal days without Corona, we would have had thousands of people on the street today, but just because of Corona, I managed to be in on time.
That's great. Michael, you guys in GIZ have been such great supporters of the mEducation Alliance, including being one of our longest standing member organizations. Any memories that you want to share about the mEducation Alliance with our audience?
Oh, millions. How much time do I have?
Maybe let's start with something and drop in the chat other memories.
Well, I mean, for me, the Alliance was always a kind of laboratory, so to say. And in this laboratory, I found creatures which you could hardly find all together at one place in the wild. But at the Alliance, we all came together in one big room, so to say, and what started as a donor and nerd-driven exchange became, let me say, one of the most important and well-known alliances if it comes to mobile education and digital learning. But not only the people and the actors, these creatures which you find in this laboratory, also these elixirs which are brewed in this laboratory are amazing. I remember one of the first steering group meeting in Paris. We brewed this stone soup. You remember that, Tony? Yeah.
Sure.
When everybody threw in their ideas and initiatives which they wanted to get support and which they wanted to present there, and we put all together in one big pot, stirred around it, and what came out was some fantastic studies. For instance, we did a landscape review, education in conflict and crisis. How can technology make a difference? It's still worth to read. It's a few years old. And this was a joint effort from the Alliance. This is one of the elixirs I was talking. Maybe when I said it started as a nerd thing, very at the fringe of the sector, but with the refugee crisis, with Corona pandemics, and with the ever ongoing development in the education sector, digital learning is now in the core of the global education agenda. So what started as a small network is grown, and I think we are in the middle of a storming of this topic. And a latest OECD paper said that only 3% of the global education expenditures are spent for technologies. 3%. So if you take that and see the huge demand for spreading digital learning, you see that the Alliance is still at the very beginning, although it's already 10 years old. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thanks, Michael. We really appreciate your saying such kind words, and again, how much support that GIZ has provided. Michael, when you mentioned creatures, you may recall that a number of our mEducation Alliance events, we actually had something called a technology petting zoo. And so there you go. So we have wild creatures. Well, Michael, looking forward to having you join us for the event. So get comfortable, and we'll see you in just a few moments.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Michael. Oh, look, Carmen Striegel who's from RTI, who's the Director of Technology for Education and Training. Carmen, come on over here and give us a few words about why you're here today. It's great to see you, and we've been thrilled to have RTI support for so many years. Carmen, what brings you here today?
Hi, Tony. Well, it's all you, Tony. I'm coming for you. What do you think? Obviously, for you and all the other amazing and fantastic participants at the mEducation Alliance. It feels great to be on the red carpet and all this massive amounts of audience, very well protected out here. So thank you for having me.
Well, that's lovely, Carmen. And again, you've been involved at RTI from the very beginning. I think looking through my symposia agendas starting in 10 years ago, you were one of our first presenters, and you've been constant along with RTI's presence throughout. Is there any particular memory of the mEducation Alliance you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember that first attendance. Man, I was so excited. I was also super, super nervous. It was the first time I had the opportunity to present Tangerine. As many of you know, since then, Tangerine has made many appearances at the mEducation Alliance Symposium, as have other RTI software products and research outputs. And we've been really happy to be able to sponsor the event also in recent years and just make more international participation possible. I have a couple really fond memories. For example, in 2013, and hearing Michael talk, I was very excited about GIC launching the Mobile Education for Numeracy working group, for example. I also remember very well 2015, the workshop held by Bob Hawkins from the World Bank, where we got to co-design game scenarios building on Evoke. 2016, the one and only time I was ever able to talk about work in my home country of Germany, when I shared findings from Project Reconnect, which used technology to support refugee learning. 2017, I think you were really putting down and putting into the spotlight disability inclusive education and the role of technology. And that symposium gave me the opportunity to present on our assistive technology initiative in Ethiopia. And maybe fast forward 2020, hands down, that virtual escape room activity was absolutely epic.
Well, that's great, Carmen. And I'm really glad that, again, RTI, Carmen, the work that you and your team do, we've had an opportunity to spotlight all your great work. So get something to eat from the caterer that's just outside the venue, and we'll see you inside.
I was hoping for a drink, but I'll take the food as well. Thank
you,
Tony.
Ayan Kishore is here as well. This is tremendous that we have so many support. Ayan's the Director of Digital Development at the Creative Development Lab with Creative. Ayan, again, just great thanks for the support and your particular engagement at the mEducation Alliance all these years. What brings you here today? Do you have a favorite memory you want to share?
Thanks, Tony. First of all, I'm sorry my cat filter is not working, but I will do without it. Really happy to be here. The mEducation Alliance has always been a homecoming, a reunion for me. I mean, all the people you're seeing right now, they're all friends and they've become friends as a result of the Alliance. And every year, really look forward to meeting everybody. This is really the gala for education technology practitioners around the world. So really excited to be here. I do have many fond memories, but I did want to share one particularly, and I don't remember the year. It's probably 2013 or 2014. It was back when it was in the OS building. And I was relatively new, and we had a concept of an idea of how we could actually bring reading outside schools into homes in Zambia using SMS messages. And I remember coming into this Alliance symposium, we got to present the concept, get feedback, meet potential funders, and believe it or not, I got to actually meet people from Zambia who we would collaborate with. I met with the late Mark Bennett from my school, met with Jane Myers from Labudo. And I have this memory. I mean, this generally doesn't happen at a symposium, but I mean, Jane and I kicked it off so well, we decided to walk off in the middle of a session, went to FedEx, and she wrote me a letter of support and signed it. And we came back into the symposium. And this is just normal stuff that happens at the mEducation Alliance. So you're really forging business relations and personal relations. So it's been great through the years to come here and hang out with friends, ex-colleagues, and your tribe.
Ian, again, right back at you. The event is really about the presenters and participants such as yourself and Jane, and likewise. So can't thank you enough for your support over the years and the great work that Creative's doing. Again, maybe find a seat inside. It looks like it's filling up, so we want to make sure that you get a good front row. We'll see you in just a moment.
All the best. Here's for another 10 years.
Thanks, Ian. Let's see. Rebecca Leahy looks like she's on the line. Rebecca, it's great to see you. How are you, my friend?
I am well. My carpet here in Atlanta is not quite as red, but it's there in spirit. So great to be with you, Tony.
Great to see you, Rebecca. And I remember initial founding conversations with you about the formation of the mEducation Alliance and how much good fortune we had to work together as part of the All Children Reading Grand Challenge, and how supportive ACR has been for all the years of the Alliance. It's great to have you join us today in your new capacity, or you're not so new, but Chief Impact Officer with World Reader, a fabulous organization that we've featured for many years at the mEducation Alliance as well. But do you have any particular memories that you want to share?
Oh, I do, Tony. I think back to part of the spirit, as Ian just shared, was about that networking, about developing friendships, but doing it in a fun way. And you often mention the petting zoo. I think one of the unique factors of the mEducation Alliance is really about how much fun it is. That, we tried to bring gaming into it, a gamification of presentations all the way around. I don't know how many remember, but 2015, we ran a we ran a book creation episode, The Impatient Worm, about a boy named George in Haiti. And we created it in small groups and actually used the Bloom software to produce it and have it read at the conclusion. That's one example. And then Kahoot, I can remember being at USIP and we're all there playing Kahoot, thanks to Alf Eng. So many fun ways to bring our technologies together in a way that we could see it hands-on and be able to share and collaborate around our ideas. So those are some of my highlights from just the fun that you brought.
Yeah, and it was always so much fun just brainstorming, creating space in the agenda and just say, let's just fill it with some participatory activity. And that was a hoot with that book that we produced, that we read it out loud, and it was basically about some boy who ate the wrong thing and got a tapeworm.
Correct.
And then ended up getting healthier. So it was a great, I remember one of our participants was from GPE, Alex Palacios, and he was the one who read the book. So, excellent. Well, Rebecca, thanks for joining us today, and look forward to seeing you inside. Oh, Brad Pitt's here. Is that amazing? Brad, come over. Brad, over. Oh. Well, Brad Pitt couldn't join us. I know he's busy just getting inside, getting his seat. Let's see who. Mike Trocano just appeared on the red carpet. Mike, who's the global lead for innovation and education at the World Bank, has been a founding member of the mEducation Alliance. And Mike, it's so great to have you here today. Again, sort of number 1 or 2 in terms of engagement in the Alliance, and your continual presence throughout as a great supporter. Do you have any memories you want to share, Mike?
Great to be here this morning, this afternoon, this evening. It's morning for me here outside Washington. It's great to see so many people in the chat and other places online. A memory, yeah. So I guess 2 sort of linked memories. I remember coming down the escalator when it was maybe at the Hyatt, the mEducation Alliance meeting one year. And I remember hearing this sort of dull roar downstairs, and I was thinking, it's kind of a bummer. I don't know if there's some salesman convention happening downstairs and we're going to be off in the corner somewhere. And it was this group of people. It was the Alliance. It was the folks who've been involved in this, many of us, I guess, when this started, I think we kind of felt rather isolated within our institutions, especially within our big ones, and to have this community of people there so vibrant was just great to see. And then the last physical event, I remember walking up the steps at the, U.S. Institute of Peace with, I assume she was a college student, and she was looking around at the whole floor of people talking. And for her, this was absolutely normal, that this sort of thing would happen, that these people would be together. And I thought in this 10-year period, sort of Michael mentioned how the agenda or technology use in education has kind of moved from the fringe and for better for worse to the center of lots of things. And these, I think, two sort of contrasting memories, I think, exemplify that for me. So great to be here. Look forward to seeing who won and listening and learning. Thanks so much.
Hey, Mike, then again, thanks for joining, and all of your fellow colleagues, Bob Hawkins and fellow colleagues in edtech working at the World Bank. Well, looks like the show's about to start, so I hope folks have had a chance to take their seat. I'm going to try to get into the venue right now, and I'll see you all in a few minutes, but want to thank all of our red carpet interviewees. All right, so the show's about to start. See you guys inside.
Hello everyone, I'm Charles North with the Global Partnership for Education. I'm so pleased to join you for this celebration of the mEducation Alliance's 10th anniversary. Many people have worked hard to make this possible, but we are all indebted to Tony Bloom for his vision, leadership, and perseverance. Thank you, Tony. Some of you may remember that Tony once got me to play the Alex Trebek in an Alliance Jeopardy game. That was kind of fun. I've also had the pleasure of addressing the Alliance's meetings in exceptionally beautiful settings. The Great Hall in the Organization of American States, and in the atrium of the U.S. Institute of Peace. It is unfortunate we can't meet today in one of those beautiful buildings, but it is fitting that we are relying on technology for this meeting just as millions of children are relying on technology for remote learning. The Global Partnership for Education has been a member of the Alliance since its inception. It has been exciting to watch the Alliance grow as a platform for many diverse stakeholders working together to advance educational outcomes in low-resource countries through technology. We commend the Alliance for its role in sharing promising edtech investments and for its innovative global events, tools, and challenge funds. As Alex Trebek might have said, education for hundreds of millions? Here's your clue. The challenge for this organization is to support the development and scale-up of evidence-driven and sustainable technology to advance quality educational outcomes. That's correct. What is the mEducation Alliance? Congratulations to the Alliance on its 10th anniversary, and a big congratulations to all the award winners and nominees in today's event. Your work is truly inspiring. Thank you.
Over all the years of the mEducation Symposium, and I think I've been there around it for pretty much the whole decade, I have to say my favorite memory was the last in-person symposium in 2019, when I was presenting information about Lobito Library Partners' work to fight early marriage in rural Zambia using makerspaces, and how and why that worked well for us. And it resulted in my being invited to UNESCO's annual celebration of the International Day of Education to discuss how it is that education contributes to peace. I think that that is a high-level objective far beyond all the different kinds of literacies that we could all agree on. Congratulations, Tony, and mEducation.
Congratulations! Dear mEducation Alliance, happy 10th anniversary and congratulations on creating a forum like this. On behalf of NORAD, I'd like to commend USAID and especially Tony Bloom for initiating such an important platform. The good discussions, partnerships forged, and events held at the symposium have been of critical importance for NORAD-led initiatives such as Edu app for Syria and the Global Digital Library. A digital ovation from Norway.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the 10th anniversary event and the first annual awards show of the mEducation Alliance. My name is Alexis Fonel, and I'm the Emerging Technology Evangelist for Google and Public Sector. But more importantly, I'm a long-term fan of the mEducation Alliance and also have the privilege of serving on its governing board. It's such a treat to see so many friends and colleagues of the mEducation Alliance around the world have joined us today. Speaking of which, where's Tony?
Hey, Alexis, I'm really sorry. I was trying to figure out how to get in because, you know, there's so many doors of this amphitheater that it was a little bit embarrassing. It was almost as difficult of what Carmen had mentioned, escaping the symposium event that we had at the last Play Every Day, but I'm here just to let you know.
Well, I'm glad you made it out, and you must be so excited that we're hosting this first anniversary show.
Alexis, I sure am. It's so great to see so many of our mEducation Alliance member organizations attending, along with our friends from all over the world, literally. It's terrific, of course, that this is our first annual awards show, and we have so many amazing nominees to acknowledge.
Absolutely. And while it's the Alliance's 10th anniversary, why an awards show and why now?
Well, first off, Alexis, it's long overdue that we simply just had a tribute for how many organizations are working throughout every day, basically, to come up with innovative edtech solutions. It's particularly even more relevant in light of COVID-19, and think about how all of this network of organizations have been to respond to the needs of all these learners around the world. So we felt that the anniversary show is a good way to acknowledge all the organizations that have previously attended, but an award show is at least some small way for us to acknowledge the great work of a variety of organizations.
Absolutely. It makes total sense to me. And the fact that we're going to make this an annual event is terrific. Before getting to the award portion of the show today, there might be some attendees who don't actually know the Alliance's origin story, as well as some of us who've already participated. As your founder, what was your thinking around establishing it in 2010, almost a decade ago, by the way, Tony? In fact, more than a decade ago.
Yeah, thanks, Alexis. Well, as you may know, Alexis, I started at USAID in 2009 as their distance education specialist, where I worked for a number of years. And before that was working as an ICT specialist at Peace Corps, and before that for about a decade at the World Bank. And it seemed to me that there was a lot of good work going on in this space, but siloed. You know, my roles and responsibilities at USAID, there was just one of me, and similar counterpart agencies maybe had one or a few people working on ed tech. So the original origin was to have a convening platform that we could come together and share experiences and explore opportunities to collaborate with each other. But obviously, in the course of which, having annual symposia and having landscape reviews and working groups were a great way for us to identify and to share good practices of the field. So that's really how it started, and it just started snowballing from there. When we started, we had 15 member institutions of the mEducation Alliance. Now we're at 33, and probably over the course of years, we featured 2,500 different participants have attended in our events, and probably 500 or so presentations. So it's been exciting to see so much participation.
Well, no one knows more than I do that technology is so much about innovation, and innovation is about bringing different thoughts, different ideas. And the symposia has been so critical in bringing that diversity of thought and bringing that robust discussion. Really, it sounds like that desire is what led to your first symposia in 2010.
Yeah, it really was. Just again, started off as Mike Tricano had said and other colleagues, just as a nice platform for people to share their experiences and to make sure that we were also talking about our failures as well. I actually remember from our first event, which is kind of funny in terms of my memory, just in terms of our own learning curve, is that I remember one of the participants coming up to me and saying how great it was that we had built an hour of unstructured time into the agenda, that was such a great opportunity to network, because usually events are packed, back-to-back presentations, and people not having a chance to network as part of the formal program. What he didn't realize, and we didn't realize as organizers until he had mentioned that, is we had inadvertently put an hour by accident into the agenda that we didn't realize until that moment. But it ended up being a great happenstance, because we realized that we really needed to make sure that all of our events had rich opportunities for people to be able to network with each other. So we have always made that a mainstay of all our symposia as well. But it started as an accident.
That's hilarious. And it also explains why you have so many open sessions, but also I think why people appreciate the mEducation Alliance as a place to really come as human beings and have thoughtful and intentional conversation and to connect. Sometimes I think as people who are championing education elements and issues around the world, we can be so into our day-to-day that we forget to kind of have that community and have that camaraderie and how that feeds us. So it's so, so exciting. Was there a particular opening session that stood out to you? I know those have always been really interesting.
Yeah, as Rebecca Leahy had mentioned as well, that was always a fun part of planning the event. And she mentioned the one we did with George and the Impatient Tapeworm. Another one was maybe our third or fourth event that we hosted at OAS's building, absolutely beautiful venue. And we had divided groups into teams, and they were on a desert island. And all they had was a dead computer and its peripheries, and they had to figure out what to do with it. So obviously a great group for people to figure this out. So one of the groups, in fact, figured out how to get their computer started, how to use their peripheries to build a raft to sell coconuts and trade with the other island dwellers on the other table. So that was hilarious. As Mike had noticed, a room full of geeks figuring out how to get a dead computer started. That was lots of fun.
That does sound fun. So I know that you had a lot of presentations, at the symposia, and that there have been really interesting kind of takes on technology and innovation. What were one of the ones that really stood out to you?
Yeah, there's so many. It's really hard to pick a few, but maybe just on either end of the spectrum. One of which is that we always emphasize that the M in mEducation Alliance is not exclusively around mobile phones. It's mobile technologies, which is pretty all technologies. So that's one thing just to explain about the mEducation Alliance. But it's really looking at technologies that are useful in low resource environments that could be accessible or scalable. So I remember one year we had Parmad, who is a representative working with one of the school's departments of education in India. And his innovation was a mobile phone put inside a box that had magnifiers and reflectors to basically make the image of the mobile phone larger so it could be used as an all classroom device, basically a mini TV set. So we thought it was just a mobile phone and a cardboard with some elements in it as well. That was a great example on one end of the spectrum. The other of which is that our symposia 2 years ago was on digital literacy. We had 100 presentations about all different aspects of digital literacy, from how do you teach digital literacy if you have no computers, to a range of other interventions. So it was really exciting to have a breadth of technologies that are highlighted at our events.
I love the fact that the members of the mEducation Alliance have never shied away from really tackling the tough issues, the things that, we really need to dedicate ourselves to overcoming and making progress in. In some of those tracks, I know in particular, I'm so proud of the work and support around learners with disabilities that has been a constant theme at symposia events.
Yeah, that's right, Alexis. We have always had a disability track. And when it started in our first symposia, we had 3 presenters, maybe a few attendees. But every year it's gotten larger and larger. We've had great groups that we featured. You'll be hearing from some today, but edtech, the work that All Children Reading Grand Challenges had supported with its disability track as well. Kudos to Josh Josa, who's USAID's disability specialist, and his great work in supporting that as a theme. It also will be one of the signature activity themes of the mEducation Alliance, working with partners such as Save the Children, and we'll be excited to let folks know about that as that moves forward.
I think what's so exciting about today in particular is that the Alliance really is about practitioners, right? And the awards today are actually going to be able to recognize, so many of the practitioners that work to advance us every day. But I also know the Alliance has done incredible work around engaging policymakers, and policy is so critical to driving, mEducation issues and education in general. Tell us a little bit more about how the Alliance has engaged policy.
Sure. We've always considered the mEducation Alliance as a safe harbor for practitioners, donors, foundations, policymakers to be able to share their experiences, including their failures, with each other. So we see it more as a practitioner level, of which policymakers are definitely part of that audience. So we make it a point of pride that we always have policymakers at our events. And over the last number of years, we've had policymakers from Africa, Latin America, Asia. What's really nice is the equalizing effect of the mEducation Alliance. It's a great opportunity for practitioners or researchers or students that are attending the event to talk to a policymaker that's responsible for ICT activities in a country. So we think they both benefit, both audiences benefit from that equalizing effect of just being one of the attendees and an opportunity to network with each other.
Well, Tony, it was great to catch up with you. And you are one of my favorite people, but I've got to admit, I can't wait to see some of these award winners. So thanks so much for touching on the evolution of the mEducation Alliance. It's been such a journey, and I'm sure others will speak about it through the event. But with that being said, let's move into the award portion of the event. As previously noted, this is the first year that the mEducation Alliance has hosted an award call. Earlier this year, we issued a call for nominations, reviewed those received to develop a short list of nominees, and then invited institutional members of the Alliance to vote on these. We're delighted to have 3 nominees for each award track, which we will highlight today before sharing the organization that received the most Alliance votes. Halfway through the award program, we're also delighted to have some fabulous entertainment provided by Musology and recording artist Adara. So first of all, let's kick things off with our first category, literacy. I'm pleased to announce Krister Gunderson, the Chief Technology Officer of NORAD's Global Digital Library, who will be sharing a little about the nominees and announcing the winner.
Thank you, Alexis. And thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here to present some of the great edtech organizations that is focused on literacy. And without further ado, the nominees are Integrated International, Let's Live in Harmony. In response to the challenges refugee school children in Jordan face and the demands placed on the teachers, Integrated, in partnership with Little Thinking Minds, developed a multimedia approach to tackling social cohesion in the classroom. Their solution, Let's Live in Harmony, is a multifaceted approach to respond to the educational needs for Syrian and Jordanian students in double shifting schools. This edtech platform enables children to strengthen literacy while building a vocabulary of self, other, acceptance, respect, and harmony through a digital leveled library of stories, while a program of teacher-led activities enabled the class to put these principles into practice. The next category, the next nominee, Rising Academies, Rising on Air. Learning from experience during the Ebola crisis, Rising Academy Network adapted to the COVID-19 pandemic by creating a distance learning solution called Rising on Air, a 20-week program of free, ready-to-air radio scripts and SMS content. The program leverages Rising's proven high-quality structured curriculum content, redesigned for delivery via existing widely available technologies. The content covers literacy, language, arts, and numeracy for 5 different levels across K-12. In addition, Rising has created a complementary content aimed at teachers to support their professional development, as well as health and safeguarding content to help keep children safe while out of school. The initiative is available via an open access web portal and a podcast platform, and has a growing community of partners and organizations and governments around the world, currently spanning more than 25 countries. The last candidate, SIL International, Bloom. Bloom makes it easy to create simple books and translate them into multiple languages. The Bloom library holds over 5,000 books that these language communities can download to translate into their own new languages. Bloom is a software that facilitates translations with books into their own language, and they record audio reading of the book, and then publishing these books in various print or digital formats. Bloom Reader is a smartphone app that allows language communities to download the talking books. The Bloom creates and it highlights the text as the reader listens and facilitates learning by reading. That was the 3 candidates, and the winner is Rising Academies.
Hello, everyone. I am Elsie Mae Melanie Buckle, Project Lead at Rising Academies, joining you from Freetown, Sierra Leone. I am honored to accept this award for our Rising on Air Literacy program. Thank you to mEducation Alliance for the recognition, and to my fellow nominees, SIL International and Integrated International, for their wonderful work. Oh my. I have so many people to thank, but first, I'd like to tell you about how Rising on Air came to be. In March 2020, when the Ministry of Education in Sierra Leone announced that schools had to close due to COVID-19 pandemic, we knew from our experience during Ebola that we had to act fast. We quickly adapted our curriculum into high quality radio scripts and began broadcasting radio lessons in Sierra Leone and Liberia. We then decided to post all our radio scripts online for free and invited other organizations to use them. We were amazed at the response. Ultimately, 35 different partners across 25 countries used the scripts to reach over 12 million children. As a Sierra Leonean, I am proud that we shared this innovation from West Africa with the world. I am accepting this award, but Rising on Air is much bigger than our organization. We are inspired by all of the partners that joined Rising on Air to create distance learning solutions for their context. Thank you to IEI in Pakistan, Impact Network in Zambia, AHA in the Philippines, Rabbits in Cameroon, Pratham in India, Mango Tree Literacy Lab in Uganda, U Movement and Lead Africa in Liberia, and the Ministries of Education in Sierra Leone, Guinea, Gambia, Chad, and Liberia. Rising on Air took flight because of you. I also want to thank the parents and students who listened and gave feedback. All the input we received helped to improve Rising on Air immensely. We're also indebted to collections of open source storybooks like Storyweaver, Literacy Cloud, and African Storybook Project that we incorporated into our scripts. Lastly, We are grateful to LGT, UBS, Optimus, Mulago, and EdTech Hub for their financial support, which allowed us to provide everything in an open sourced way. As we look back on this last year, one lesson is clear. Across the world, we are confronting many of the same challenges. We are proud to have contributed to the body high of quality open source content, and we hope to see this movement continue to grow. Thank you.
Congratulations to Rising Academy and to all the other nominees in the literacy category for the great and amazing work you're doing. What's been really compelling for me to look at all of these is exactly the nature of partnership and how we all have to come together to make strides in this area. Now it's time to introduce youth and workforce development nominees. I'd like to invite Suraj Shah, lead for the Regional Center for Innovative Training and Learning at the MasterCard Foundation, to the stage.
Thank you, Alexis, for the introduction. It's an honor to be here. The opportunities for youth and workforce development are endless within the edtech field and is clearly demonstrated by the work of each of our nominees. The three nominees in this category are International Youth Foundation, Passport to Success Traveler. Passport to Success Traveler, or PTS Traveler for short, is a comprehensive mobile-first, low-bandwidth course to teach critical soft skills to youth entering the workforce. It is a mobile-first adaptation of the company's flagship in-person soft skills and work readiness curriculum. This is a game-based course and it features a global travel theme and was designed by, for, and with young women and men from diverse communities around the world. It is available in English, Spanish, Hindi, and Arabic. PTS Traveler tackles gender equity and social inclusion gaps in the workforce. Since launching in January 2020, PTS Traveler has reached more than 25,000 young people across 6 continents. Our second nominee is the Rumie Initiative, Rumie Learn. Rumie Learn is a free digital micro-learning library that delivers bite-sized insights in minutes to build transferable life and career skills. In each bite, which is usually a 5 to 10 minute micro-learning experience, learners build transferable skills with immediate application, transforming wasted time into meaningful scrolling. This micro-learning model has assisted youth development in low and middle income countries such as Guatemala, Liberia, and the Syrian crisis. Our third nominee is Quest Alliance, Quest App. The Quest app enables young people with the freedom to drive their own learning experience in a fun, impactful manner. Through Quest's signature blended learning curriculum, the app with over 200 hours of content helps develop 21st century skills. As formal spaces shut in 2020, the app saw an increase of 4 times as many users during the lockdown in 2020. Young people were learning on the app even while colleges and institutions were shut. The app was also supplemented with webinars and online clarification sessions. And the winner of the Youth and Development Workforce is International Youth Foundation. Congratulations.
On behalf of IYF, I would like to extend our gratitude to the mEducation Alliance and the selection committee for this recognition. I'm Rhonda Greenway, and I lead our online learning work around the world and serve as a digital solution owner for Passport to Success Traveler, a multilingual, game-based work readiness course designed by, for, and with young people around the globe. Congratulations to the 2021 slate of finalists and award recipients. We are proud to be among such an innovative cohort of organizations. In the youth and workforce development category, the Rumie Initiative and Quest Alliance are making extraordinary strides to democratize access to skill development, a goal we share. In fact, our friends at Quest, members of IYF's global partner audience, collaborated with us to test PTS Traveler with young Indians throughout the development process. Passport to Success Traveler would not exist without the PepsiCo Foundation and their investment in developing the soft skills of young people around the world. Game Theory and Sunday Month's teams of game designers, programmers, and artists. The Cornerstone On Demand Foundation for their in-kind platform and intellectual support. The Estee Lauder Company's Charitable Foundation sustaining funds and end user support. And a global team of IYF staff working to bring our in-person, instructor-led life skills program into a young person's pocket. Above all, we're grateful to the thousands of young people around the world who provided their time, energy, and insights to Traveler so that we could better serve their peers. IYF looks to design our digital solutions in line with the principles for digital development. So in the case of Traveler, designing with the user was at the heart of the initiative. From paper prototypes to rapid social media polls on concept art, at each stage of the process, young people were in the driver's seat, charting our course. While COVID-19 made in-person programming impossible last year, we are pleased many of our programs and partners were able to turn to Traveler. In fact, 2 validated measurement instruments utilized in 2020 suggest users who completed all of Traveler saw medium to large gains in multiple soft skill domains directly linked to career readiness. This, matched with youth perception data in the high 90s, demonstrates this user-centric approach was a success. But we're not done yet. This year, we're rolling out another evaluation study, digital badging, blended lesson plans, and further exploring the scale of Passport to Success Traveler. If you or your organization is interested in partnering with us to bring Passport to Success Traveler to your program or organization, please contact us today.
Wow, what a great group of nominees for youth and workforce development. And congrats again to IYF. It's so exciting to hear about these partnerships, to hear about the impact, and also to hear about the incredible support that donors, foundations, and others around the world are really doing to drive the engine of this change, especially at this critical time. Now let's bring Jackie Strecker, the Connected Education Lead at UNHCR, on stage to tell us a little bit more about our nominees in the next category, such a critical one, crisis and conflict response.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. And it's really an honor to be with you all here today. As you can tell, this category is of extreme importance to the UN Refugee Agency, but of course this year it's been something that we've all had to deal with as we've looked at how to address the current crises and ensure the continuity of learning for all learners all around the world. And so the 3 nominees that we have really exemplified how to use edtech in their COVID responses. And the nominees are Amal Alliance, We Are In This Together. During the onset of the pandemic, Amal Alliance spearheaded a consortium called We Are In This Together. They developed a series of podcasts that supported the well-being of caregivers and also children. And they did this through a whole series of practical activities and also looking at coping mechanisms. Amal Alliance also created a pilot called Colors of Kindness, which they piloted in Bangladesh with a focus on Rohingya refugees and also the host community. And it was through this work that they really identified a hybrid approach that allowed for classroom-based instruction that helped children build out their social emotional learning competencies through a mixture of audio-based instruction, but also interactive digital workbooks. Next, we have Education Above All. The Internet Free Education Resource Bank was a collection of over 120 project-based learning resources. They provided week-long learning experiences for learners ages 3 to 14, and this covered a whole range of subjects. Some of these were science, English, mathematics, social studies, but they also really looked at building out different competencies, from literacy, numeracy, 21st century skills, social emotional learning, and all of these resources were available for free. They really focused on providing an engaging learning experience for people who didn't have internet or were working in low resource contexts. And all of these resources are available in 9 languages and are actually mapped to 5 different curricula. So next, we have the Department of Education in the Philippines with their Death Ed TV. Now, in response to COVID and the closure of schools, the Department of Education in the Philippines began training teachers on how to record their lessons, which could then be broadcast to students. Even local TV reporters joined in and assisted with the teacher training. They produced 130 video lectures per week to cover a whole range of subjects. And you can find these recordings on their YouTube channel. So without further ado, I'm very proud to announce that the winner of the Crises in Conflict Response Award is Education Above All Foundation.
Hello, everyone. Wow, thank you so much. This is Lina Zahir from Education Above All Foundation's Innovation Directorate based in Qatar. On behalf of our organization, I would like first to congratulate the mEducation Alliance on its 10th anniversary and to thank you for organizing this event and doing this really important work of convening key organizations in global education and education technology. And also for holding a space to celebrate through events like this, all of the great work that is being done in edtech. We are truly humbled and grateful for this award and for being considered alongside the other nominees who are doing incredibly valuable work to ensure that vulnerable children continue to thrive despite the disruption presented by the COVID pandemic. I would like to thank our Innovation Directorate and Reach Out to Asia teams at Education Above All, in addition to all of our external contributors for their support in developing the Internet Free Education Resource Bank. We could not have possibly developed this bank with over 120 project-based learning resources that were developed in-house by a small team of 3 people in the span of a few months without them. I would also like to thank all of the partner organizations that we have worked with, including Dignitas, Mantra for Change, ICTARA, British Council, and the Lebanese Alternative Learning organization for implementing and piloting the Internet Free Education Resource Bank, and truly allowing us to use it to contribute to the learning and growth of over 120,000 children in 5 different countries. We could definitely not have done any of this without their support. And we also recognize that, while many remarkable initiatives do exist in this space, a lot more needs to be done to ensure that quality learning is sustainably accessible to the world's most remote and vulnerable learners. We're excited to continue working toward this goal by expanding our offerings, particularly within the domains of literacy, numeracy, and personalized tech-free education. And we would like to take this opportunity to commend the existing efforts and encourage all of the attending organizations to continue contributing to innovation within access and quality so that we can collectively make strides in ensuring that universal access and improving the quality of education for all learners everywhere as possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Education Above All, for your great work, and especially to the other 2 nominees as well. Really inspiring stories and solutions. I'm now going to pass it over to one of our mEducation Alliance team members to introduce the next category. Over to you, Scott.
Well, great. Thanks, Alexis. And for those who don't know me, I'm Scott Isbrandt, and I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the mEducation Alliance. I'm really happy to announce the nominees in the numeracy and STEM category, especially since math is such a critical priority of the mEducation Alliance. So without further ado, the nominees are Akshara Foundation for the math learning app, Building Blocks for Foundational Numeracy. Akshara Foundation is an organization in India that leverages offline and online education solutions for underserved children. Its technology-enabled math program provides an activity-based curriculum and collaborative for learning materials to develop critical math skills. GKA is Akshara's math model designed as a support program for students and teachers in government primary schools to bring proficiency for children in grades 1 through 5. It focuses on improving math skills by making learning fun and relevant to everyday life, and is taught based on the philosophy of activity-based learning. Our second nominee is Learning Equality from Calibri. Calibri is an adaptable end-to-end set of open solutions, especially designed to support offline-first teaching and learning environments where the internet is costly, unreliable, or available. What makes Calibri exceptional is that it has a library of vetted, open, and easily discoverable educational materials in STEM in a variety of languages and grade levels, and functionality to align these materials to different curricula. Given the low resource context where Calibri is used, these resources, such as physics simulations, chemistry videos, and computer science games, provided supplemental support to stimulate what may not be otherwise possible. This wealth of materials also includes a bank of exercises that, when used within the learning platform, support both self-assessment and the ability for educators to track learner progress. Having these materials accessible in a platform designed for blended learning in environments where the internet is scarce is what enables improvements in learning outcomes. Our third nominee is Pratham, Education Foundation for Prod-Digi Open Learning. Pratham's digital initiative focuses on helping children build competencies pertaining to school, work, and life. For school subjects such as math and science, Pratham creates content available online as well as offline after downloading, for children to explore through self-learning, project-based learning, and experimental and creative learning. The program has a current reach of more than 12,000 communities and 700,000 learners across India. Pratham has created multiple videos and games for math and science available in 11 regional languages and English, and has the distinction of having the largest repository of content in local languages. And the winner is Pratham Education Foundation.
On behalf of Pratham Education Foundation, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Mobiles for Education Alliance jury for recognizing our efforts in the numeracy and STEM category. At Prodigy, we have been focused on creating contextualized content and technology to help children and youth learn for school, life, and work. Numeracy and STEM have been at the core of the work that we do. We create content in the form of digital games, PDFs, videos, and various other interactive media. One of the things that we focus on is to try and bring children as co-creators rather than a passive consumer of the content. During the lockdown, Prodigy grew to accessible mediums like TV, radio, SMS, and others. We shared our content with governments, partner NGOs, and various others. Parents became facilitators, learning happened at home, and we strived to reach every device. These efforts would not have been possible without the relentless support and encouragement from our donors and supporters. You have always reiterated your belief in our ideas and consistently nudged us forward. A big thank you to our partner family for collaborating on new ideas, building on programs, and helping us reach more and more each day. In the last 5 years, Pratham Digital has grown in scale, scope, and innovations. Taking our learnings and know-how forward, we are excited to announce the setting up of Pratham Shah Family Center for Digital Learning Innovations. This center would be focused on creating independent learning tools and low-tech solutions for India and overseas. We are constantly on the lookout for engaging ideas, partnerships, conversations. So please reach out to us on prathamopenschool.org or write to us at digital@pratham.org. We can't conclude without mentioning our incredible co-nominees, Akshara Foundation, a sibling born out of the same philosophy of societal missions to ensure quality learning for every child in India, and Learning Equality, a long-term collaborator and friend with a mission to reach low-resource communities with high-end tech. In a way, we share this award with you.
Hey, Alexis, that was great. What a great lineup for a half. Are you excited?
So excited, Tony. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, you know, everybody was absolutely riveted. I didn't see anybody go out to our e-cafe to get anything to eat. I think they were just all really riveted on the presentations. And congratulations to Pratham and all the nominees in that track. Hey, it's halfway through, and as a high value production, the mEducation Alliance obviously has to have entertainment, right, Alexis?
Of course.
Of course, and we're going to bring some of the best and brightest at this moment right now. We're thrilled that the mEducation Alliance, through our colleagues Ed Metz at the Department of Education, introduced us to this great work of this organization called Musology, that is trying to make math fun by introducing math games with using fabulous recording artists to get into classrooms and to get kids jazzed by math. We're also really excited that Adara, one of the recording artists, has been a supporter of the mEducation Alliance. We also featured Musology and Adara at our recent Play Every Day Symposia. But get this, Alexis. They're here, and Adara is going to perform a special treat for us just now. Excited?
I can't wait. Let's bring it.
All right, let's bring on Adara.
Hi, Amal Alliance 10th anniversary event and award show virtual attendees. Greetings from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Adara, and it is an absolute honor to be celebrating with you today. First, thank you to all of the educators, advocates, and organizations who made the continuity of learning possible during this challenging past year. And congratulations to everyone being recognized during this amazing event. In the spirit of celebration, mEducation Alliance and Musology have partnered to bring you a special educational performance. So without further ado, get ready for a mathematical music concert. When you're solving equations, the typical situation is there is just one solution. Yeah, there's just one solution. But there are two special cases where this outcome changes. An unexpected conclusion that becomes your solution. Sometimes you'll find that there will be no solution. Sometimes there will be infinitely many solutions. When your equation has no solution, all your variables cancel and you're left with a false statement, yeah. Oh yeah. All your variables cancel and you're left with a false statement. This means that no values can satisfy your equation. No solution, false statement. No solution, false statement. When you have infinitely many solutions, all your variables cancel and you're left with a true statement, yeah. Oh, yeah. All your variables cancel and you're left with a true statement, yeah. Any and all values can satisfy your equation. Infinitely many, true statement. Infinitely many, true statement. No solution, false statement. Infinitely many, true statement. No solution, false statement. Infinitely many, true statement. Yeah. I never knew that singing about math could be so much fun. But in all seriousness, with partners like you, mEducation Alliance and Musology, education truly has the power to change lives. Here at Musology, it is our mission to enable all students to optimize their incredible potential and to shine like a brilliant diamond. As a music artist, it is my passion to empower people to embrace their inner strength and light in the midst of life's many challenges. So I'm going to leave you with one of my original unreleased songs off my upcoming album. This is called Diamond, and I truly hope that it speaks to you. Hurt me when you said those words to me. I swore I'd be bleeding out, but unexpectedly there was a light like fire in the sky, but shining under my skin. So I get deeper just to see the beauty from within. I've been looking everywhere for somewhere to feel safe. I guess I had to lose it all to finally find my way. I'm learning how to say, you can hurt me, I'm a diamond. When you hit me, I shine brighter. faces underneath all the pain. Grew a glow I didn't know could set the world ablaze. You can hurt me, I'm a diamond. When you hit me, I shine brighter. When it's feeling like the world is caving in, I won't give in. You can hurt me, I'm a diamond. Under pressure, I grow stronger. When it's feeling like the world is caving in, I won't give in. I'll keep rising. I'll keep fighting. Always shining brighter. I've been looking everywhere for somewhere to feel safe. I guess I had to lose it all to finally find my way. I'm learning how to say, you can't hurt me, I'm a diamond. When you hit me, I shine brighter. When it's feeling like the world is caving in, I won't give in. You can't hurt me, I'm a diamond. Under pressure, I grow stronger. When it's feeling like the world is caving in, I won't give in. 'Cause I'm a diamond. I'm a diamond. Ooh.
Thank you so very much for listening. And congratulations to all of the award show winners. If you'd like to check out more music-based educational content, go to musology.com. And if you'd like to follow my personal journey, you can go to adaramusic.com. We'll include these links in the chats. Thank you for all that you've done for children to learn and thrive.
Thanks, Musology and Adara, for such a great performance. I know Musology has been working closely with the mEducation Alliance on one of their signature activities, Math Power. And I have to admit, as someone who wasn't always keen on math, if I had that way of learning through song and other thing, I would probably be a math genius at this point. So in looking out for other Math Power activities, Tony, if you're there, can you tell me about a few other math-related things that the mEducation Alliance is up to?
Sure, Alexis, and if I'm out of breath, I apologize. I don't know if you saw, we were all up and dancing when Adara was singing. And so that was awesome. We were socially distanced and wearing masks, if you can imagine that as well. So completely safe, just to let you know. So again, thrilled to have Musology and great performing artists like Adara be champions of, in general, a new way to introduce math activities to, as you said, to get young people engaged. We're really excited that Musology is one of our implementing partners or technical advisors for our Math Power initiative, of which we have a range of interventions. We could drop the link to the Math Power homepage, but they range from working with groups like Ubongo and Musology to do something with math with youth in Africa, which we'll be announcing shortly, to our first of a series of virtual math festivals that we'll be hosting mid-March, kicking off on March 14th. Hey, Alexis, does that have any relevance to you in terms of 3.14? Does that ring any bells?
It does ring a bit of a bell.
So Pi Day, we're going to be kicking off with groups like the Julia Robinson Math Festival, working with our colleagues at ADEA, with the Africa Union, a variety of organizations, education above all, to do a series of virtual math festivals, of which there's a call for presentation proposals that is just out now. We'll start in Africa.
I have to say, I predict that Math Festival is going to be this year's Coachella. So everyone better kind of get signed up now, because I have a feeling anyone who's anyone is going to want to be a part of that.
That sounds great. It may be hard to ask everybody to dress up as their favorite math symbol, but we'll figure out something fun as well. So there's a range of activities for Math Power, not the least of which is how do we get young people in the communities themselves to be what we call math game ambassadors. So we'd love to figure out ways that we could introduce them to math games And when we talk about math games, we're talking low or no tech that you could use with household objects. So again, really excited to have this collaboration with Education Above All, with Save the Children, ADEA, a variety of other groups as well. So for those that are interested in finding out more about Math Power Initiative, they could just email us, and we'd love to have presentation proposals. And if folks are inclined to be sponsors, that's great as well.
Awesome. Is it time to get back to the awards?
Let's do it, Alexis. I think everybody's back in their seats, and let's go.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I would love to introduce Deepta Samat Raja, the Disability and Development Consultant at the World Bank, who will be introducing the next category.
Thank you so much, Alexis. And I am so happy that Tony asked me to introduce the Inclusive Education nominees, since it is so closely aligned with my work at the World Bank. This was not an initial category, but since so many great organizations are working in the area, the mEducation Alliance thankfully added this to the event. And with that, here are the nominees. Benetech for Bookshare. Bookshare is the world's largest online library of accessible ebooks for people with reading barriers. People with dyslexia, blindness, cerebral palsy, or other reading barriers can customize their reading experience to suit their learning style and find virtually any book they need for school, work, or the joy of reading. Readers can choose from multiple formats, including audio, audio plus highlighted text, braille, and large font. Available in many languages, Bookshare books can be downloaded for offline use and read on virtually any device, including smartphones, Chromebooks, computers, tablets, and assistive technology devices. To date, people with reading barriers across 90 countries have accessed over 18 million ebooks using Bookshare. Moving on to the next one, Grapho Group for Grapho Game. Grapho Game is a personalized and engrossing language learning app for young children, currently free to download in Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Panama, Chile, France, Norway, and the USA. It is also a phonetic methodology developed by linguists, neuropsychologists, and speech pathologists to help children and struggling readers train their first and most fundamental skills in literacy. During 2 decades of longitudinal research on learning difficulties, Grapho Game's predecessor, Ekapeli, was developed. This has since been used by all Finnish children entering school to supplement their literacy learning and identify individual linguistic challenges. With positive learning outcomes, the application evolved into a global project involving 20 plus universities and 300 plus scientific publications. Grapho Game has been localized into multiple languages by top universities around the world. Grapho Game Limited works with Grapho Group Limited works with a diverse set of organizations such as governments, universities, NGOs, foundations, and charities to distribute Grapho Game as a national literacy resource. And finally, World Around You for the World Around You platform. World Around You is a technology-based multilingual platform with the goal to increase global literacy outcomes for deaf children by providing greater access to sign languages, early grade reading materials, vocabulary, reading instruction, and digital games. Way is a library of storybooks about different topics, including COVID-19, folk tales, deaf experiences, cultural items and foods, and sign language genres. Way promotes community inclusion and engagement by allowing deaf and hearing contributors to create, publish, and distribute multilingual sign stories with written text collaboratively across the internet. Way reinforces global literacy for deaf children and global sign language documentation of local, regional, and national sign languages by deaf people. And the winner is World Around You. Congratulations.
Hello. I am so honored to be part of the great pool of good hitters here like Benetech and Grapho Group. I'm so honored to be selected for this award. I'm a strong advocate for inclusive education for everyone. Inclusive education means putting students with disabilities in the general population. But inclusion to me is a brave space. It's where people deaf and hearing can take part in education and learn together. It's well known that only 2% of deaf children have access to sign language in education. With the ACR GCD Sign On for Literacy funding, we were able to develop a technology solution that addresses the lack of full language access. World Around You is an open source platform where everyone can participate collaboratively. We create stories from the storytelling community, the writing community, the signing community, and the arts community. World Around You promotes community engagement and inclusion. This is critical for every child, deaf and hearing, anywhere in the country. Near the sea, near the city, these children should have access to stories in their languages at any time. I want to thank those who have been involved in this process from the idea to the conception of the product. Our current team at Rochester Institute of Technology includes Stephen Jacobs, Thomasine Sarche, Kim Kurz, and Truk Nguyen. Our former team members include Mel Chua and Brianna Harold. We also want to thank the folks at Second Avenue Learning, the deaf students and teachers at the Benilde School for the Deaf in Manila, deaf students and teachers at Full Life School for the Deaf in Laguna, and the folks at the Center on Educational Access and Development at De La Salle College of St. Benilde in Manila. These people rock. Through our recent ACR GCD Begin with Books funding, we are currently working with 6 countries: Fiji, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, Samoa, and Somalia to build 200 shared stories in their print and sign languages for young students in preschool through 2nd grade. These stories will include deaf characters and deaf culture in those countries. And as is the nature of this open source platform, we're looking for partnerships in content and technical areas for platform customization and enhancement. We're also looking for partnerships to reach out to a larger deaf and hearing population. It is my passion to ensure that all people, including children worldwide, have the opportunity to thrive with full language access to their own people's language in the context of stories. Stories engage, connect, influence, teach, and inspire their readers and viewers. Children will be able to use their languages to learn, to communicate, and to socialize with each other. And that's a basic human need and a human right. So I want to thank the mEducation Alliance so much for this award. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to World Around You. What an amazing organization, and absolutely unlocking the potential of all of us around the world. So thank you so much. I'm so glad the mEducation Alliance added this category. It is absolutely critical in this field. Now, please welcome Vicki Collis, Managing Director at the EdTech Hub, who will tell us about the nominees for EdTech Researcher Extraordinaire. And I feel like that deserves jazz hands. Yay!
I'll do my best. Thanks very much, Alexis. It's really great to be here. The EdTech Hub is a huge fan and supporter of the Alliance, and we've really enjoyed our deepening relationship over the last year. So I'm really honoured to be asked to introduce the nominees for EdTech Researcher Extraordinaire. As you say, that's quite a title. The nominees are Christopher Kurtz, the Rochester Institute of Technology. Chris Kurtz is currently a leading principal investigator of All Children Reading World Around You, an international multilingual sign language book platform. He's working with a deaf team from each of 6 countries to adapt and create 200 books in their sign languages. He recently co-authored a USAID working paper using ICTs to implement a universal design for learning, working paper from the Global Reading Network for enhancing skills acquisition for learners with disabilities. He teaches graduate courses in deaf education and continues to research and publish papers related to mathematical learning in deaf students, sign language use in the classroom, and accessible technology. A strong advocate for deaf empowerment, sign language documentation and accessibility, and bilingual literacy and numeracy among deaf children, he always makes sure there are deaf representatives beside himself on his research teams. Second nominee is Kenneth Y.T. Lim from the National Institute of Education, Singapore. Dr. Lim's work represents a sustained and successful track record of helping teachers understand and align the affordances of several key aspects of educational resources to achieving learning goals. In 1992, while still training as a teacher, he published his first book, which was a guide to sustainable environment practices. Dr. Lim has been a pioneer in helping fellow educators implement scalable lesson units in immersive environments, and a 10-year, between 2009 to 2019, retrospective of his work in this field is slated for publication in the forthcoming 2021 volume. Dr. Lim's project on socially responsible behaviour through embodied thinking, Sorbet, draws from his experience over the past 30 years. Sorbet is scalable, low cost with low infrastructural needs, sufficiently robust to take into account different contexts of learning, and multidisciplinary at its core. And the third nominees are Sarah Puzavara and Carmen Striegel, and apologies if I have mangled the pronunciation there, from RTI International. For the past 2 decades, Carmen and Sarah have led and contributed to dozens of edtech research and program design and implementation efforts in over 25 countries. Sarah's research has converged around leveraging mobile devices for teacher training and delivering basic skills instruction, beginning in 2006 with a mobile-enabled school-based teacher training program in Bangladesh that compared teachers' content knowledge outcomes to a comparison group of traditional in-person workshop participants. As part of the same study, Carmen led research on e-resources to support instruction in remote schools in Mongolia and Samoa, identifying and publishing enablers and barriers to effective edtech integration. Recently, Sarah has developed a framework for scaling equitable edtech and has used this model to develop a program of research in the Philippines. Carmen is taking forward applied research on expanding the use of Tangerine to support large-scale teacher coaching and teacher continuous assessment in Kyrgyzstan. And the winner is Sarah Puzavara and Carmen Striegel. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you so much, Vicky. It's an incredible honor for us having been selected for this award, given the many talented and committed edtech researchers who have made important contributions to this field. I want to congratulate Christopher Kutz and Kenneth Lim for their nominations, and I really hope this shared experience will open up opportunities for future collaboration. This year not only marks the 10-year anniversary of the mEducation Alliance, but also my personal 20-year anniversary of edtech work and research. It's truly hard to believe that it's been that long since I designed my first research project and wrote my thesis on the evaluation of language learning software and their application in German secondary schools. To me, this field has really not lost anything of its excitement or its need for good, solid research. In fact, I feel that quality research that informs policy and practice has never been as important as today. And to ensure that we harvest the opportunities technology provides, not only for some, but for all learners. I've joined RTI International nearly 17 years ago with a mandate to grow the Institute's edtech practice, and I've worked with Sarah for nearly 15 years. I am thankful to RTI's leadership and our education team who believe in us and entertain our sometimes crazy ideas, our constant efforts to try new technologies, and our occasional failures. I feel so lucky that we get to work on all aspects of edtech. We design edtech products and programs, we implement them, monitor, and evaluate them. This gives us a unique insight, not only into what works, but what it actually takes to make it work. Most of all, I'm really grateful for all the students and teachers, government counterparts, and colleagues across the 25 plus countries where we have done this work, for their willingness to put up with our many questions, our zeal for rigor, and our demands on their time and expertise. Thank you to the mEducation Alliance for organizing this event and for all of you who made this award possible. Sarah, over to you.
Thanks, Carmen. Everything you said, I couldn't say it better. And, although we started so many years ago, 20 years ago on our separate continents, we just wouldn't have come this far without encouraging, challenging, and supporting each other all these years. Or, of course, without working with all the other amazing people we've had the opportunity to work with, too many to name today. But you may have noticed if you've read our CV or bio blurbs, you don't actually see Carmen and I together very often on papers, but that's the thing about this field of work. We're both usually involved in some way in these examples, and it really emphasizes a couple of things that I've heard echoed throughout this meeting already today. First, not all research makes it into published papers, unfortunately, but second, and more importantly, is just building knowledge through research is really such a collective effort. None of us work alone, and there are just so many people behind the scenes that aren't recognized, whether they're out there securing the funding or supporting the analytical work or collecting the data. So just thanks so much to mEducation Alliance for being an important community of practice and a hub, bringing us all together and sharing all these years and honoring this joint award, which is a bit out of the ordinary, I think. So hi to my colleagues from the Philippines. Again, thank you to you for also putting up with, as Carmen said, our whimsical ideas of how we can work together to do research in the Philippines. So excited to continue doing that this year and to work with many of the other amazing individuals on this call today and being honored through the awards process. Thanks.
Congratulations again, Carmen and Sarah. You both are really incredible people that I have admired for the last 20 years, much less to say the last 10 in your involvement of mEducation Alliance. I know we've always been able to count on you to bring unique and powerful conversations, not just information, to the Alliance. So the award is so well deserved. Now we're going to go to our first award winner for the Policymaker EdTech Champion. And I'm going to hand it over to Mark West, UNESCO's Project Officer for the Future of Learning and Innovation, to tell us a bit more.
Hi, Alexis. Thanks so much for that introduction. Really a pleasure to be part of this event. I've enjoyed contributing to the Alliance since its inception nearly a decade ago, so quite a long time now. It's been wonderful to have so many memories from Alliance events, and even once I brought my mother to an Alliance dinner, so it goes back with a lot of these people, and happy to see so many familiar new faces. I also wanted to say the Alliance has been an excellent platform for UNESCO. We've met so many important people and organizations over the years. It's really expanded our own knowledge of EdTech. So anyway, very happy to be here and happy to hand out an award. This is the first time I've given an award on behalf of the Alliance, and appreciate being invited to do this. As we know, the Alliance initially saw the Policymaker EdTech Competition Award as a category to be voted on by Alliance members. But there were really two standout nominees that we felt deserved recognition. The first is the Department of Education Philippines. You learned a little bit about the important work of this group during the crisis and conflict category, but I'd like to tell a little bit more about this team and how it worked to ensure the continuity of learning during this ongoing pandemic. In response to the COVID-related school shutdowns, the department in the Philippines began training teachers to record lessons that were broadcast to students through television, radio, and online platforms, including YouTube and other channels. Local TV personalities were tapped to select, train, and mentor over 100 teacher broadcasters in the span of just 1 month. During the first phase of the project, the department managed to produce 130 episodes per week, covering all the major subject areas in the curriculum. In the second phase of the project, which is expected to begin moving very soon, the department will increase its resource pool to produce 220 episodes per week that will cover all of the subject areas in the curriculum and ensure that learning continues despite the many interruptions to face-to-face classes due to the pandemic. You can find the recorded lessons on the Department of Ed TV YouTube channel, which I've had a chance to look at, and some really fantastic content there. Here to share a few words is Amal Alliance. He's the director who oversees the Information and Communications Technology Service within the department. During his time in the role, he has managed the Department of Ed computerization program and participated in numerous cyber expos that were born out of the Digital Rise framework. Training teachers in digital literacy has been consistent throughout his tenure, which is now more important than ever. And prior experience of his includes roles at the Education Department Center at UNICEF. So hello to a UN colleague, and also the World Bank. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Abram. Thank you very much.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone. I would like to thank the mEducation Alliance for recognizing the Philippine government in the Policymaker EdTech Champion Award. The past year was incredibly challenging with all the disasters that we had to face, ranging from volcanoes, floods, earthquakes, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic. It was also a year of stepping up to the challenges of incredible innovations, exciting changes, and rapid implementation in the field of education technology. To name a few, we were able to deploy the DepEd Commons as a platform for learning resources to 9.5 million users. We trained more than 350,000 teachers on using technology in a span of 3 months. We launched DepEd TV from zero to an operation that produced 130 episodes per week. And we recently launched an online tutoring session targeted towards parents and learners in 4 different dialects in our country. For these accomplishments, I would like to thank USAID, UNICEF, Microsoft, and Google, as well as 2 local organizations, EI2Tech and Intelemina, for all the assistance that they have given us. I would also like to thank our top management, Undersecretaries Alain Del Pascua and Diosdado San Antonio, and of course our dear Secretary Lenore Magtolis Briones, whose leadership made all of this possible. Most of all, I would like to thank the incredible people in the EdTech unit, as well as our new teacher broadcasters who did the back-breaking work to make all of this possible. Finally, I would also like to thank the parents and learners who have journeyed with us in exploring how technology can be used to continue teaching and learning at all times and in all conditions. Thank you again to the Alliance for giving us this award.
Congratulations, Abram and DepEd, on your award. Now let's hand it over to Albert Nsingva from Association for the Development of Education in Africa to tell us about our second EdTech Policy Team Award winner.
Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate the introduction and so happy to join this celebration. As you know, I'm representing the Association for the Development of Education in Africa, ADEA for short, as one of the newest Alliance members. But ADEA is in good company with 4 recent additions to the Mobile Education Alliance made in the past few weeks, notably Save the Children, African Union, the T4, and the Asian Development Bank. This now brings membership to 33 members. So 2018, this is a wonderful time. This is a great news that we're sharing today, 10 years after the inception of this important initiative. But the main reason I'm here is to introduce the second award winner for the Policymaker EdTech Champion. The Sierra Leone Ministry of Basic Education, Basic and Senior Education, was nominated because, as the nominator put it, their champion support for the use of mobile technology supported the radical inclusion of all students in Sierra Leone. The ministry consistently uses technology to support data-driven decision-making and evidence-informed policy development. In February 2021, they launched the first phase of the One Tablet Per School program, which will collect data, dynamic data, and manage schools-based teacher professional development with the goal of improving learning outcomes by strengthening the education workforce. This initiative builds on the recent efforts of creating a digitized annual school census. At the same time, the ministry has also used GIS mapping to support school catchment area planning and the development of a new school approval guidelines. All this work directly contributes to our mission on providing free quality education. Now to speak on behalf of the Sierra Leone Ministry of Basic and Senior Education, Secondary Education is Grace Kagobe, Head of the Delivery Team and Executive Assistant to the Minister and Chief Innovation Officer, Dr. Senge, a role she has held for the past 2 years. She is passionate about helping others and making an impact through capacity building. Please allow me to welcome to the stage Grace Kagobe.
It is an honor to accept this award on behalf of myself and the team at the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Our work is a success due to the exceptional leadership of the Minister, Honorable Dr. Senge, the rest of the staff, and the relentless commitment of my delivery team. We thank our donor partners and implementing partners of the delivery team, like the EdTech Hub, for their continued support towards our work. Now, to speak on the One Tablet Per School initiative, it is an initiative that speaks to the government of Sierra Leone's approach in using technology to get the data we need from our schools and also to manage school-based teacher professional development with the goal of improving learning outcomes. As a team, we're fully committed to moving this initiative forward in support of the government's free quality school education program. We'll continue to collaborate, explore, and test new ideas for effective education service delivery. As always, we encourage new partners to invest and collaborate with us. Quality and accessible education is a right for all, and we will stop at nothing, absolutely nothing, to ensure all children can attain this. Thank you.
Congratulations to our two Policymaker EdTech Champion Award winners. We are delighted to honor both you and your organizations, and in general to highlight the work of so many ministries of education around the world, particularly in response to the use of innovative technologies in COVID-19. This has been an absolutely amazing time in our history, and to see the ministers of education around the world really just embrace the type of moment and leadership that we need to drive education forward has been absolutely incredible and just an honor to watch, to partner with. I'd like to now turn the stage back to Tony to announce our final Special Alliance Award. Tony?
Hey, thanks, Alexis. And again, to echo your words, congratulations to our colleagues from the Philippines and Sierra Leone for their amazing work, but illustrative of the work that all these ministries who are doing amazing work day to day in light of COVID-19 had to really turn up the accelerant to support learners using a variety of creative ed tech innovations. So congratulations to our winners in that category as well. Yeah, hey, Alexis, we thought in addition to giving our track awards that we'd like every year to be able to give out a special award for an individual or organization that's really contributed a lot to the mEducation Alliance itself and the community that we represent. So this will be part of our annual tradition as well. For this first and special award that we've had, we'd like to actually award this to a good friend and colleague, Mike Tricano. Mike, I've had the great pleasure of working with you physically and side by side for over 2 decades. first as colleagues at the World Bank and beyond that. You've always been such an invaluable supporter and resource for the mEducation Alliance. So congratulations, Mike. Before we bring Mike on the stage, maybe just give you a little bit of background for those that aren't familiar with Mike. He's currently serving as the World Bank's Senior Education and Technology Policy Specialist and Global Lead for Innovation and Education. So the acronym is WISBTURIP, just kidding, working on issues at the intersection of technology use and education in middle and low income countries and emerging markets around the world. He currently leads the World Bank's Global EdTech team and Global Solutions Group on technology and innovation in education, which maintains the World Bank's knowledge base and related topic, including his providing technical support and guidance to large-scale national education projects. Mike also leads the research and analytical work under the World Bank's flagship Systems Approach for Better Education Results, SABER initiative, as it relates to information and communication technology. He's also known for writing numerous blog posts, which are great additions to the field. And with Mike's candor and solid voice, it's a great resource for people to be able to appreciate good practices, lessons learned, and mistakes in the EdTech community, including one that particularly he wrote in 2014 called Education and Technology in the Age of Pandemics, which obviously you can imagine has been revisited many times over the last year. Mike, you've been a great friend and colleague since we first met pre-Y2K, working at the World Bank on the World Banks for Development program. I'd like to invite you to the stage so we could give you the special award.
Hi, Tony. Can you hear me? Thanks so much. It looks like I'm back on the red carpet, but thanks so much. It's an honor to be noted in this way by friends, colleagues, and peers. It's just awesome. I'm speechless.
Well, thanks, Mike. And I know you live nearby, so we'll be delighted to be able to carry the award over to your house or send you virtually as well. Yours will be a little bit larger because it's our special award. So we'll be working with Amazon to make sure that it's packed carefully, unlike the statues we used to ship when we were working for World Links that were made from stone, Mike, that I know it was a bad idea for us to be sending those through the mail. So our award will remain intact.
I remember those, certainly, yeah. And it's just, even just to be noted here in a situation like this, that's quite an award. So thanks so much.
All right, Mike. All right. Alexis, back to you.
Hey, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you also to Mike and congratulations on a well-deserved award. I feel like, this represents more than a decade. And to Tony's point, you've been a leader in the space for many decades. So I guess that makes this kind of our Lifetime Achievement Award, though I know you're going to continue to be engaged for us for many lifetimes to come. You truly embody what it means to be a representative of the mEducation Alliance. And we're honored to have your support throughout the years and knowing that you'll be around for the years to come. But let me say, Tony, wow, what an event. We're almost at the very end, and we want to thank those of you who have stayed on to recognize these amazing EdTech organizations and individuals. As we all know, it's always hard to make advancement of this area that we really care so passionately about, but this year was specifically, I think, a challenge. And it's really this community that enables this great work and what we've seen with the Alliance Network itself. Tony, any last reflections on this event or overall contributions that's brought you to this point?
Yeah, Alexis, I would just say that it's a collaborative undertaking for a variety of organizations, the mEducation Alliance. As you heard from our red carpet, many of our award nominees, if not all, have been featured at various mEducation Alliance events that we have. And as I noted at the beginning, it's really a collaborative undertaking for so many organizations. Our Alliance members from around the world who have contributed with their research. We've done a number of landscape reviews, as you heard Michael Hollander mention from GIZ. We've organized sub-regional events. We have a very ambitious schedule coming up of activities and events in the coming year. So first of all, just great credit to our mEducation Alliance members. Alexis, your role as on our governing board, along with other colleagues, and we'll be announcing the representatives in our advisory board in the coming weeks. So it really is a collaborative undertaking. I also want to invite to come on the screen my fellow colleagues at the mEducation Alliance, literally without which we couldn't have put on this show and done the great work that we've done over the last year. So Nicole Carney, who's our Director of Strategic Engagements. You heard from Scott Isbrand in terms of our Director of Strategic Initiatives. And then a variety of our fellows that are joining us today, Kim, Sophia, TL, Stephen, Zola, that are just amazing to work with, and I want to thank you guys for all your support as well. We are a newly established nonprofit, so we are looking for partners with whom we could collaborate on a variety of activities. If you'd like more information about strategic initiatives, we mentioned Math Power. For example, we have others that are called Youth Digital Champions, another one called the EdTech Academy. And we'll be really excited to launch a new channel, multimedia channel related to EdTech that we'll be making available and letting people know about, and have a number of interviews, including featuring organizations and individuals that have been part of this year's event as well. So again, great thanks to everybody who's been involved in this event, and jazz hands, I love your jazz hands, Alexis, to all of our attendees, awardees, and organizations that have joined us here today. So it's what a pleasure.
Well, kudos, first of all, to you and the entire team for making this event a reality. You know, Tony, I know that we met so long ago and, you know, tried to pull off some really audacious things, which was just the seed of, you know, my experience with you, and really my incredible, deep appreciation for your leadership and your boundless energy. And more importantly, really modeling servant leadership. You are someone who always is embracing others, always trying to bring other people, partners to the table. And that really is the embodiment about the mEducation Alliance and bringing it to life. Before we go, I think it would be remiss of me to not ask you to tease just a few more of the things that are coming in the months to come.
Sure, Alexis. First of all, I just wanted to say, whoever left their copy of George and the Impatient Tapeworm, I see that it's in the aisle. Just to let you know, come to our Lost and Found, and we'll be happy to give it to you. I think Rebecca Leahy signed it, along with the other authors of the book, and so I know it's a valuable commodity. Otherwise, we'll just keep it in our mEducation Alliance e-museum, and it'll be there for others to enjoy. Just wanted to mention if you're the ones that have missed the book. So yeah, Alexis, I had mentioned, in addition to Math Power, we're really excited that our Youth Digital Champions initiative is exploring linkages between digital literacy, youth that are interested in and or have digital skills, and how might you get these school students or youth engaged with community development products or projects. So for example, you have a set of digital skills. How do you raise awareness of youth being able to interact in sectors such as health, agricultural, education, to apply their digital literacy skills and acumen, specifically to support community development projects? So like Math Power, we have a variety of organizations with whom we're collaborating on Youth Digital Champions, who in their own right are doing great work in the space of training youth with digital skills. And we'd be delighted to field any questions or inquiries about organizations that would be interested in partnering with us. I'd also mentioned our EdTech Academy. It's another one of our signature activities. And the EdTech Academy is designed to support policymakers and practitioners with a good practices, what we know about EdTech in developing countries. We're working in collaboration with other colleagues who have similar ambitions, such as the World Bank and the EdTech Hub. How do we support policymakers and practitioners to be able to provide sort of training in this area? Our first series in this area will be Digital Literacy 101, which will be a number of modules that are focused on, again, what we know about digital literacy in terms of safety and security, in terms of misinformation, and again, in terms of areas such as applying digital literacy for development. So we'll welcome organizations that are interested, and be on the lookout for our first module, which we'll be unveiling in the next few months. And finally, I mentioned disability as another signature area, with organizations such as Save the Children, that we're really interested in seeing how we can contribute to the body of work in this space. And as you noted, Alexis, it's always been an important component of the mEducation Alliance to be able to support colleagues and initiatives in that space. So that's just a roll-up of our events. I had mentioned virtual math festivals that we'll be doing globally. And we're really excited. We have two components in addition to our consistent tracks that you'll see for the virtual math power events. We have one called Solve for X, which is one of our tracks. Do you have an innovative idea related to math and technology that you'd like to pitch to organizations? That's one of our tracks. And the other is a STEM pavilion, which will be for exhibitors that want to have more of an opportunity to exchange their experiences and products with attendees of these virtual events that will be taking place over the year. Lastly, for the 2021 symposium, Alexis, are you interested in knowing what the theme is?
Of course I am.
Well, ask me what the theme is, Alexis.
Tony, what's the theme?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Alexis. What a great question. So our theme this year will be edtech research, and we'll be working quite closely with our colleagues at the EdTech Hub, who have been terrific supporters of the mEducation Alliance, to organize both a symposium multi-day event, but then bi-monthly policymaker dialogues on what we know about edtech research. So that'll be one of our symposia events this year, along with other activities, like I mentioned, Math Power virtual festivals.
Amazing. Tony, I knew there were going to be a lot of big ideas coming from you and the mEducation Alliance, but it's amazing to think that this was once an idea, and now 10 years later, a decade later, bringing all of this community together, look at where we are now. I am so honored to have been a part of the growth of the organization and to be asked to MC this event. I feel like I've had so many, fangirl moments, seeing different leaders, different types of interventions. So thank you so much to all of you and the amazing work that you've done. Tony, speaking for everyone who's been to an mEducation Alliance event or worked with you and your team, thank you so much for the continued passion and dedication to the field.
Alexis, right back at you for everyone who's joined us today as well, all the nominees. And please let us know if there's ideas or opportunities for collaboration with your organizations. As you know, Alexis, we're pretty nimble and flexible and very excited about working with current and existing partners. So from the mEducation Alliance, from Nicole and the whole crew who've put this event together, my colleague Scott Isbrandt, with whom we've worked closely over the last several months, a big congratulations for organizing a great event, and look forward to all the other activities that we'll be putting together over the coming year. So thanks so much.
Well, Tony, with that, it is time for us to sign off. Thanks again to all for attending and participating in the mEducation Alliance 10th anniversary event and first annual awards show. We can't wait to see what awards come in the following year. Thank you so much, and we look forward to joining you next year.